It doesn't matter if you've spent hundreds of dollars on a digital camera or you use your phone. We have all been photographers. Whether the photos turn out well is another story. I know I've taken my fair share of out of focus, overexposed, and simply bad pictures. But no matter what, I keep hitting the shutter button. Why? Well, why does anyone take pictures? Is it to play with composition and colors and create a story in one still scene? Or is it to document people, events, and everything happening around you? Maybe it's a combination of both. We all have our reasons to raise our cameras and shoot. Regardless of what sparks the urge to capture our world, there's a deeper fear that leads us to photography. The fear of forgetting the moment. A trip to my mother's house isn't complete without looking through old photos. After years of hiding in overflowing envelopes scattered around her basement, most of my childhood memories have been recovered. The collection of those photos is my prized possession. Whenever anyone asks that weird question, if your house was on fire and you had to save one thing, what would it be? I say my pictures, every time. The thing that stands out about every picture that documented my childhood was the fact that they were all taken on film. Being a kid of the early 2000s, digital cameras were already being marketed and climbing towards tremendous success. But my mother didn't cave, she stuck with disposables. I'm grateful that my childhood was so well documented. When I flip through old pictures, I see moments that I could have never remembered, now moments that I'll never forget. I see my newborn self in my father's arms, decked out in camo, of course, and it makes me wonder what life must have been like for my parents at the time. I've found that the power of photos lies within how they make us feel and the questions they make us ask. Who gave me that Hannah Montana hairset? And was I really that surprised? Did my mother have me just so she could dress me up like a doll? I don't even want to know about this one. And why, in the name of sanity, did my parents buy me that always out-of-tune plastic guitar? I really do wonder. For years, I have strived to replicate the feeling I get from looking at photos taken on film. No matter how much grain I edited into my digital photos, it just wasn't the same. For a moment, I thought I was starting to fall out of love with photography. Until I realized that it might not be the visual aesthetics of film that I was pining after. Of course, the chance of getting a perfect shot is higher when you take 200 photos of the same subject and delete the ones you don't like. Also, this is more likely to happen. With film, however, you have to take extra time to think about how you will use your limited number of exposures. There's a lot to consider. There is also no instant gratification, as the process of developing film and receiving your scans can take weeks or even months. And when the time comes to see your photos, it can either be the best feeling in the world or the worst. The first time I had photos from a disposable developed, more than half of them were duds. They were green, grainy, and later tossed in the garbage. There have also been moments when all but one photo turns out exactly how I hoped. The first time that happened, all I could do was stare at my computer with my mouth wide open in awe. Kinda like when I got that Hannah Montana hairset. Finally, after years of wondering what was wrong with my photography and why I wasn't feeling connected to the photos I was taking, I realized I wasn't using the format that was right for me. Although it's not the cheapest hobby, I've found that it is the most fulfilling. I love the feeling of using up a roll of film, loading a new one, and seeing the counter go up with every click. I especially love knowing that each photo I've taken is one of a kind, their authenticity proven by the negatives. More than anything, I love being able to carry on the tradition of using film to capture my surroundings in this new stage of my life. And of course, just because I've developed a deep connection with film, that doesn't mean I think it will be the best option for everyone. For some, the convenience of a phone camera outweighs aesthetics completely. The same goes for techniques. Using this visual medium to document your day-to-day life or going in with a plan to craft a story are both valid ways to use a camera. No matter how we get there, in the end, we're left with memories we'll never forget. And that's why I'll always keep shooting.